Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. It is officially 10 o'clock. We will begin the presentation at about 10:05, just to let some more people join us so they can hear this information about how to get an RFP. And just to let you know is that we are recording this session. So we will start in about 4 minutes. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. I am Lorraine Moore. I am a project manager, special chair for the Sacramento NAACP. And with me today, I have our current secretary, Stacy Anderson. Stacy, are you here with me?
I am here. Good morning, everyone.
Okay, great. Thanks so much. Today is our official election day for our branch. So we're going to do things a little bit different. We have our town hall meeting, and today we're going to give you a special presentation regarding grants, money for you and your business, and how to get them. We're also going to be running a series of these informational sessions. So please stay tuned for future dates for the rest of the information that we're going to be offering you regarding RFPs. Today, we are going to be presenting to you information. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And as I said, I'm Lorraine Moore, and with me I have Stacy Anderson. We're going to be presenting to you grant proposals and RFP writing, first workshop. So many small businesses out there have the opportunity to win various jobs and contracts because of the lack of knowledge, getting information late, and not knowing how to apply, or their business is not properly set up. So they miss a lot of opportunities to get money for their businesses. There's so many opportunities to get grants that people just don't know about. So this initiative was designed to provide information on RFPs, and we're going to tell you what that acronym stands for, to be able to help your business and put you in position so that you can actually scale your business, start a new business, grow your current business, or just expand altogether. So we're going to be giving you information on how to win an RFP, how to write one, and just so much more information. And I'm going to turn it over to Stacy to talk about what an RFP is.
All right. So what is an RFP? RFP is a request for proposal. It's a document that announces a detailed project looking for businesses to bid by presenting a proposal on how you will fulfill that request as the vendor or contractor. So it contains either goods or services. And so, you know, in order to really to expand your knowledge regarding RFPs, you really have to understand what an RFP is, and you'll need to know the proposal definition as well. Next slide. All right, now where to find an RFP. So you'll see on the slide, there's several places to look for RFPs. California grants, grants.ca.gov. You have the grant databases and resources and all of these different places. I will read them all for Facebook, maybe if they are not able to see. Grants.ca.gov, california.grantwatch.com, nonprofits, organizations, and for-profit businesses. Grant databases and resources, grants.gov, grantwatch.com. The Grantsmanship Center, informational resources for finding grants. And then also a great place to start is City of Sacramento grants. All right, next page. So what does RFP stand for, which we pretty much went through that already? It stands for Request for Proposal. And they're looking for the winning proposal. Next slide. So is your organization eligible? So that is one question that you have to really look at, the format and how your organization is formed, and make sure that everything is correct and ready to respond to an RFP. So thoroughly review eligibility requirements. You must read, you have to read in detail everything regarding this RFP. You're not able, this is not the time to get ready. You have to already be ready and be prepared. So you have to make sure your business is in order and able to respond to the requirements, and that you're able to offer what they are requiring. And then also register to entities if needed. That you know, register for the Franchise Tax Board, California Secretary of State's office. Make sure you have your EIN number. Make sure that you are registered with all the state and county different places where you can register your business, so that you will also get sent the information about RFPs and other grants. So please share your what we want to do is just make sure that we are ready. Make sure we are ready at every point. Make sure that everything about your small business is ready to go, and that you have the manpower and everything is all your ducks in a row, so that when you respond, you know that you have the winning RFP proposal. Next slide. So where to locate an RFP? So grants.ca.gov is a great place to start. Businesses, individual, nonprofits, public agency, all of those, tribal government. So what I would like to make sure you understand, that you, the vendor or contractor, you'll be submitting a proposal with other supporting documents, depending on the request for this particular RFP bid, in which it is your main objective to persuade the RFP issuer that you have the winning product. So I want you to think about right now, what can your business offer that would beat out the competition? And feel free to add your messages to the chat, or raise your hand to share your responses. Those on Facebook, please send a response as well. Just think about that for a minute. What can your business offer that would beat out the competition when you are applying for an RFP bid? And then the second thing I want to ask or state, your proposal must be detailed in showing the buyer how you are going to meet the demands that this RFP is requiring. You will be in competition with other vendors, so make sure your proposal is detailed and hits every question outlined in the RFP. So a good thing is to write down those questions, write down those things about the RFP, and then just, brainstorm on your responses before you make them. All right, next slide. So we just want to make sure we're giving you all the information on where to locate an RFP. And so as you see on the slide, there's many places. Environment and water disadvantaged communities, health and human services, education, employment, labor and training, energy, parks and recreation, housing, community, and economic development. So if your business aligns with these organizations or these different categories, and you feel that you can go after that RFP in regards to what your business offers in one of these categories, then I say go for it. You're ready.
Thank you so much, Stacy, for that information. And I just wanted to recap and restate for those that have just joined that we are discussing an RFP, which is a request for proposal. And it's usually a information given to the community, either from state government, local government offices, stating that they have a job and they need a client, which is an organization or a company, to complete that job for them. And you are able to put in your bid, and that's basically what an RFP is. Stacy also went over the areas in which you can find those proposals, such as the grants.ca.gov site, and also the City of Sacramento. And so now I'm going to continue with, this is an example now of what one of the RFP databases look like. So once you go to one of those websites that Stacy mentioned, you'll just go in and you can pick a category in which your business would fall under, whether it's environmental, education, or things of that matter. And this database basically shows different search options. You can filter the grants by the agencies. So say, for example, an agency could be the American Cancer Society, or it could be waste management, whatever different category your business is categorized by, that's how you would search for the RFP. So the work can relate to the services that you provide. You can also filter by eligibility. You can also filter by dispersed method, or just put keyword searches in. So for example, I have a business, which is business consultation. I've also worked with other businesses that are like outreach or staffing or service businesses offering products. And I would just put that into a search engine to see what kind of relatable things would pop up so that I could apply for them. And so once you search and choose the category of your choosing, different grant opportunities by the title will pop up. It'll have the open date. And I cannot stress enough how important it is to meet deadlines, because that can be your number one disqualifier. If you are a minute late, if they have November 24th by 12 p.m. or by 3:56 p.m., you must meet those deadlines or you're automatically disqualified. And getting to the point to applying for an RFP can be a really daunting task. So you wouldn't want to waste those hours and it go to the garbage just because you're late. So make sure that you pay attention closely to the requirements. And right here, they have the open date. And usually once you open up one of the complete RFP announcements, it'll give you the deadline and also the time. It also shows you the agency and department. It also shows you the estimate of how much they're going to reward. So sometimes these RFPs can be granted to one business. Sometimes it's like a crowdfunding. So say, for example, they have here listed, what is this, oops, sorry about that. They have listed here $19 million. Let me go back. On one of these, they have listed $19 million. That more than likely will be like a crowdfunding. So say, for example, they're looking for 20 different businesses to provide, and they're going to split that amount between those 20 businesses. So they may have an individual cap on how much they're awarding each and every one of those businesses. So this is just kind of like an overview of what one of the databases look like for an RFP. And so like Stacy said, sometimes you can look in different sites. And since this is Sacramento, you can check your local city of Sacramento grants. And we provided a link here, and we'll be sharing this presentation after the meeting today. And if you live in a different city, just know that there's all kinds of different databases that different cities have available for the community to apply. So it's not just Sacramento, it can be anywhere. So the RFP announcement, again, like I said, one of the government entities, whether state, local, or even national, they will put an announcement out stating the purpose, the description of the job scope, eligibility requirements, which is super important. And as Stacy mentioned earlier, you do have to have an established business, and that business has to be set up properly in order for you to qualify. So you don't want to get disqualified just because maybe you're missing an EIN number or you're missing a business bank account. So just look, you have to read through the announcements very carefully to make sure that you check their list off. And a motto that I've always gone by, like while going through school, is just give the teacher what they want. Just give them what they ask for. You don't have to do extra bells and whistles. Sometimes you just have to stay in the pocket and give them exactly what they're asking for, and that will be just good enough. So like I said before, the announcement can also include important dates. So there may be, sometimes I've seen in the RFP announcements, they have pre-deadlines to the main deadline. So they may want to meet with all of the people that want to apply for that RFP before it's actually due. So they'll do kind of like a cattle call where they'll call a meeting and maybe answer questions live. Okay, then they have the funding details. Is this a year-long grant? Is it a 3-year grant? Is it a 6-month grant? So they'll have the funding details. We're going to pay you X amount of dollars, and we're going to pay you either a large lump sum or sometimes a monthly stipend for you to complete the job scope. They're also going to show in the announcement how to apply. And they're also going to give you resources. Sometimes these RFP announcements will offer past businesses that have been approved. And sometimes they'll even post their actual application that they filled out. So you're able to go in. Success always leaves clues, and you're able to go in and see how it was filled out, see what an actual approved RFP looks like, so that you can kind of tailor what yours will look like to increase your chances of winning the bid. I'm going to pause right there and just check in with the audience to see if there's any questions. And you can also drop them in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and ask live.
Thank you, Stacy, for that comment. Do you have anything or any questions or any comment you'd like to make at this time?
Okay, and I always say if there's no questions, that means we're doing a good job. So I will continue.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Okay. So deeper details, grant application components, the summary, the introduction. So this is what your actual RFP will look like. So your actual application will include a summary. It'll include an introduction of who you are. It'll include the problem, and then it'll include the outcomes and the methods. So for example, say there is a shortage, and let me just back up and give you an example. RFPs are not just service work. So that doesn't mean like, oh, we need someone to come in and provide human resources, or we need someone to come provide customer service training. There are also RFPs that they may be looking for a food vendor. They may be looking for someone to sell boxes of gloves, Or during the pandemic, I've seen so many RFPs that were looking for different companies to source masks, gloves, and different PPE, personal protective equipment during the pandemic. So these different entities, and a lot of them came from the federal government, looking for small businesses to provide these things. So it can be anything from services to products. So you don't want to limit yourself or count yourself out, because there is a need for some of everything. So what in your application, you're going to list the problem, and usually they will tell you what's happening. You'll list the outcomes that you can provide. You'll also list the methods of who, what, when, where, and why. How is your team going to answer a problem that is stated in the announcement? Then you're going to give them the work plan and the scope of work and the project. And then you're going to give how you will evaluate yourself, and then what your budget. So sometimes you can state your price. So how much are you going to charge, say, the county for providing a certain service, or how much you're going to charge them for the products that you're going to be offering? Okay, because remember, this is a bid. And it doesn't mean that they'll always go with the lowest bid. Sometimes they'll go with the most qualified person. Maybe your products are something they've never seen, or maybe your service, offers all kinds of value added things. So again, don't count yourself out. So there's some tips, top 5 tips on how to increase your success in winning. Read the entire RFP. Now, I know sometimes I'm guilty myself. Sometimes I don't always read the directions, because I always feel like, well, I know what they're going to say. But for something this important, you might want to just go line by line and sit with the material. Meet eligibility requirements. It's so important that your business is set up and that you meet all the requirements, and they will tell you exactly what they're looking for. So again, give the teacher what they want, okay? Fill out all the components. Do not leave anything blank. And sometimes if you are unsure, you might want to partner, and I'm going to talk about this in a second, partner with an existing organization that has already won an RFP, so that you can get examples of what did you fill out for something you didn't know, or something you felt like should have been left blank. Contact the funder if you have questions. More times than any, they will leave contact information of who you need to contact that is actually managing the RFP or managing the announcement. Be concise and specific when possible. Take out all the fluff. Just answer the question straightforward. Can you or can you not provide a service or a product? Don't talk about, well, I used to do hair back in 1902, and now that qualifies me to sell combs. Like, sometimes it doesn't grant all of that, and sometimes they will. I have actually seen them disregard applications that either not pretty, mean aesthetic wise, or just have too much fluff. They just want straight to the point. Okay. So also get organized. Make sure that you have a CFP, an evaluator, or a grant writer, someone that has experience in this, to look over your application. Partner, and this is what I was going to tell you. Partner with someone that has already met these requirements. Network. Come to our meetings and figure out people's names and email addresses. Go to different networking opportunities so that you can find out, do you know what, just ask simply, do you know what RFP is? Have you ever had any experience getting one or writing for one? Make sure all your parties agree to their role before submitting the application. So let's just say if you have a business that's set up properly, and say, like, let's just say you sell combs, and the RFP is looking for somebody that sells brushes, and you don't have brushes. You can partner with a different company by contracting that work that offers the brushes and split the profits, or they'll pay you a residual so that they can provide the products. But you want to make sure that you have that agreement before you submit and you write their name on the actual application. So there are times that you can subcontract the work to other entities that do qualify, that kind of fall under your umbrella. And when in doubt, apply. If you don't feel like my mom always used to tell me, apply for the jobs that you think you won't get. And I have done that. And I am a success story in getting those things, because again, don't count yourself out. When in doubt, apply. If you feel like you don't qualify, just try it out anyway. because guess what? There may be 10 other people that feel the same way and they just won't. And so they have no one. And you may be that one person that said, I'm going to apply, and you may be chosen because they just didn't have any other applicants. So again, don't count yourself out. So once the application closes, the funder will begin making their decisions. And sometimes this can take months, sometimes it can take weeks, depending on the deadline of them fulfilling their need is how long it's going to take for them to actually look at your application and get back to you. And if you don't qualify, or if you don't, if your application is not accepted, make sure that you ask for feedback. Follow up with the person, the contact person that was on the application, and ask, well, can you tell me why? Because I'm going to tell you this, they rate your applications by a point system. So every question that they have, even if you spell something wrong, you will like lose a point. Or if you didn't answer a question appropriately, you will lose a point, or you won't get a point for that area. And sometimes they go with the person that has the highest points. So make sure that you're actually talking to the person that is looking over these applications to ask for feedback if you don't get selected. Or if you are selected, ask for feedback as to what was something that stood out to you in my application. Okay. So again, we talked about what an RFP is, where to find RFPs, how to apply, things that you need to look out for, and different tidbits on how to be successful in winning the bid. And now Stacy's going to open the floor for questions and also talk about our membership and our future sessions that we're going to be having. Thank you so much.
All right. That was absolutely amazing, Lorraine, in regards to our RFP learning sessions. And I just want to iterate that it's very important for partnership, very important to partner, and also getting the feedback, as Lorraine stated, and then also getting that feedback, because that sets you up to win. So even if you are denied for RFP, it's still a time to gather all of your information. So when you submit the next time, you will win. And then also I wanted to reiterate, as we have been during this presentation, that when you respond to an RFP, you have to really be ready. And this is not the time to get ready, but you have to already be ready to sell yourself. Have your business set up to deliver what you say you can do. Considering everything that that RFP is requesting, I just want to ask the question to you. How easy would it be to deliver products and services in a mass quality? So that's one of the things that you want to hold on to and reiterate. So there will be more of these learning sessions to come. Me and Lorraine are here to assist in any questions that may come to you after this presentation. And we always want to make sure that another important thing is to become familiar with funders. Become familiar with the funders and begin to talk with them and partner with them ahead of time. So you'll be ready and you'll be someone that is already embedded in their head. So those are the tidbits that I have for you. And the last thing I will say is become a member of the Sacramento NAACP. You can become a member today. We need you. And the information is on the slide. And thank you so much for attending today. Is there any questions? I want to open it up for any questions or comments. Thank you, Velma, for your information there on the slide. We thank you guys for participating. As I stated, there will be more to come. You will get this information after this session has ended. And we look forward to seeing you at the next session. Bye-bye.
And Stacy, I wanted to also recognize our president of Sacramento NAACP, Betty Williams, is here. Betty, did you have anything to say before we end this meeting?
Miss Betty Williams? If you are speaking, you're on mute. Okay, well, we see her present, but again, this is the election day, so a lot of things are happening. So I know she's there. Miss Betty, Madam President? All right, well, she
Okay.
is present.
Thank you.
And this concludes today. You guys have an amazing day. Don't forget to vote today. Don't forget to vote. This is our election. So please vote. Remember, I'm running for first vice president. Bye-bye now. Thank you, Stacy.